demonstrator in southern Tasmania. Southern Tasmania that doesn't really know what it wants to do today. It's up and down, it's sunny, it's shady, it's cloudy, it threatens rain. It's just a little bit crazy at the moment. Very unsettling or it's a lot more unsettled than it is usually this time of year. I'm just going to check my volume. Bear with me. Yep, no, that looks okay. I can hear my voice, which may or may not be a good thing. Okay, so I am actually watching comments on my phone rather than iPad today. So if I and it does basically make it very, very small. So if I don't see your comments, please forgive me. I'll pop through them later. Got a little bit of sunshine there. Well, there you go. We've got something happening. And I can see some people jumping on as well. Today, when we start our crafting, we're going to be using the Artistic Mix Decorative Masks. I try to use masks at least once every now and then in my cards. This one's particularly attractive to me because often I may want to use get like a what do we call it, a plaid paper or a what's the word? I've lost the word. I had it this morning. Anyway, a gingham type paper, and you can't get the right colours. So with these masks, you can actually make the right colours for yourself. And there's a couple of different combinations in here, which I'll show you shortly as to making that paper whatever colour you actually want it to be. So it'll fit whatever card you happen to be making. I'm not going to make anything specifically Christmas related today. I mean, that might be a little bit disappointing to some. I'm not ready for it yet, to be honest. I'm totally not ready. My mum sent out an invitation to her pre-Christmas soiree for the 18th of December, and I got almost annoyed, thinking, why are you doing Christmas things already, Mum? And then I realised it's only like a month and a half away, or not even 2 months away. So I suppose I can forgive her for that. But I'm not a huge Christmas crafter, so I'd rather be playing with the other things in the catalogue. So I will do some Christmas things, and I have done some Christmas things, but I'm not going to be doing them exclusively at this time of year. Saying that, and before we start crafting, I just want to show you my next Fun Fold class, which I'll be officially launching on Monday or early next week. It's Christmas gift themed. That one's coming undone. Forgive me, this one's coming undone, but I'll explain that in a minute. Got 3 gift type items in the Fun Fold class this time. I've made this cute little calendar. It's like an easel card calendar, but it's also got a little area there for your pad and your pen. Pad and pen are not included in the kit, obviously, but I do have, these are 2022 calendars, but I have 2023 calendars that will be included in your kit. So that one's a nice little gift for somebody, a teacher gift, a Secret Santa gift, something like that. So you'll get one of those. It may be blue or it may be pink, depending on how much paper I've actually got around and how far I can stretch it. So so you get a kit to make that, as I say, without pen and pad, but with a 2023 calendar. I may actually have some spare calendars available as well, so watch the post. I may well, if you add 50 cents to your order, you can grab an extra calendar so you can make extras yourself. This cute little box, it's got a gold layer there, which is really nice. So it's our Boughs of Holly box. It's just a cute little size. It's a 3 inch by 3 inch. I think it's about 1.5 inches high. I did try it out. They're not in there anymore, but it perfectly fits 4 of the Ferrero Rocher. They were in there, but they got eaten. So trust me, in the picture, I actually took a picture of them with them in there. So they really are quite beautiful in there with their gold paper and the gold on the front. Wee bit of fussy cutting on the front there, and try and find a sentiment that fits that little sentiment box as well in your stash. But so that's another one. You'll get that as well. And the final one you'll get is a little gift bag. So it's a cute little gift bag. It actually has a square bottom with cardstock. So it's a little bit more sturdy than some of the designer series paper only gift bags. Nice little size. I filled that up with quite a lot of Ferrero Rocher, to be honest, right up to the top. I think I've got probably 6 or 7 in there. So that's a nice little size, that one as well, with a snowflake on top. And again, you'll get varying papers with this one. I'll basically use a whole packet of paper, and you'll get sort of randomly chosen whatever paper you get. but you'll get a snowflake and a little bit of ribbon as well, matching ribbon to go in the top. Forgive that, it doesn't come undone. I just had to take this one undone to check my measurements. It's not quite glued back down, but yeah, so that's the 3 projects for my next Funfold class. So that's November Funfold class. As I say, I'll release that on Monday. I have about 20 people in my club, my Funfold club at the moment, and I've got enough of everything to make at least 30 kits or 30 kits. So if you're not in the Funfold club and you like this one, please jump on quickly, because I've probably only got 10 kits outside that club to actually give people who aren't in the VIP club. If you'd like to join the VIP club, just let me know. You do save 10% on each month and you get the 6th month free. What isn't to love about that? Anyway, so we'll move on. Let's do some crafting. So these are the decorative masks. They come a bit like that. Mine are a bit messy now because I've had them all out. There's 5 decorative masks in this little one. And the reason I was attracted to it is we've got, I'll show you first, we've got sort of a little flower one, little sort of flowery pattern, repeating pattern. And this one would probably be a sort of, it's a, I don't know, I'm sure there's an actual word for it, but it looks like a little, I don't know, looks like a little screen door, you know, to stop the flies from coming in. That's what it looks like. But anyway, that's probably just me. These two match together really well, so you can do it in layering. You could do it in layering if you wanted to. So yeah, and I'll show you one where I've done that. And you've got this plaid one. Plaid, that's the word I was looking for, plaid. So this is a big, bold, strong plaid. I'll move these out of the way so you can see it. Big, bold, strong plaid. And then the one I'm actually going to use, well, I'm going to use both of them today, but the one I've got in my Stamparatus is a sort of finer plaid. Yeah, so you've got the big, bold, square one, and then you've got this one with the finer bits as well. So that's the 4 sort of standard, you know, well, not standard, every time, you know, you get 4 varying ones that you can layer up with each other and everything. So that's cool. This is what actually attracted me to this one this time, is this one, which is, I've never seen in my years with Stampin' Up, I've never seen anything quite like this one. So it's just a plain piece of the masking material, and it's got 2 what look like sentiment boxes cut out of it. So obviously they fit back in there. So it's a bit versatile with this one. You can actually pop that mask in and add your colour inside like this. Just get rid of that off my brush. So you get the block of colour like that. Or, and that's not the way I'm going to be using it today, you use the cutout here and use that as a mask on your actual work, so that when you go around it, you actually have the negative sort of showing out in plain. Well, there you go. I've shown you the trick of the set now. We might as well just all go home. That's nothing else to see here, but that's okay. We'll make a card. So I really like this in the fact that we can, and if Elizabeth is on, I know she's having trouble with her hearing at the moment. Elizabeth, I love this laminated grid paper that you gave me. It's just so easy to clean, especially when you're doing stuff like this. Anyway, I love it. Anyway, yeah, I'm going to be using this one and getting the negative come out as blank, as you can see in this card here, where I've got the sentiment marked in it. So it's just a little bit unusual. I mean, I suppose you can say, oh, well, Julianne, you could just cut yourself a sentiment box and layer it over there. And I suppose there'd be easier ways of achieving the same thing, but I think that's quite a funky look, where it's sort of just, it's that pure white in the middle of that beautiful grid. Anyway, let's get going. We're going to make something similar to this one. I'm just slightly going to change it. Yes, I hear you all moaning, Julianne, don't change things, but yes, I'm feeling brave. I can do it. I can do it. You guys give me the courage I need. So it could be a disaster, or it might be. It might turn out okay. So let's see how it goes. All right, so we're going to be using this one here. That's the square sentiment box. And I'm going to be, as I mentioned, using this finer of the 2 grids as well. And I'm going to, and forgive this, you can tell I've been doing blending. I'm actually going to use my Stamparatus to keep it all well, not so much the Stamparatus, but the wonderful magnets to keep these masks in place while I do the blending. So you can see I've done it multiple times, and my grid paper is looking a bit sad and sorry, but I won't change it just now because it's going to be even sadder and sorrier by the time I finish. And I'll swap to a fresh one later. Okay, so I've just taken the stamp platform out. I don't need that. I'm just going to pop a white piece of cardstock down. Now I've made this cardstock much longer than I need it to be, just to give room for the magnets and things. So, yep. Then, as I say, I'm going to use this one. I'm not sure that there's a proper way up. There's one side is slightly less shiny than the other, so logic would dictate that you put the slightly less shiny side down so it doesn't slip as much. That's my logic anyway. I'm not sure how accurate that is. I'll keep it in place. As I say, I've got plenty of room top and bottom. So I'm going to keep my magnets in there. I'll put this one over here just for a bit of extra. Now this is this cute little mask. Probably have done this a totally difficult way, but I'm going to slide that in so I can locate it in the right position with the surrounding grid. I want it like that, I think. So sort of central, straight, and so you're going to have a bit of colour all the way around it. Okay, I can see a fair few people on today. Thanks for joining, everyone. I did see Rose. Rose, did you say something? Trellis, yes, thank you, Fran. Yes, Rose, your name is on the list as usual. I might have to talk about the VIP club for you because you will save, although it's a bit of an outlay up front, but we'll talk about it later. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. So this is, get ready for inky fingers because this is going to be, yes, getting physical with your ink in a sort of a very what's the word when you do things with your hands? Yeah, anyway, I'm losing my words today, isn't it? It's terrible. Happens to me a bit these days. I'm hoping it's just age. I'm assuming it's just age and the fact that I've got a lot going on in my head. That's what my husband says. Just got too much happening in my head and the words just go. But anyway, we'll cling to that. Okay, so I'm going to be using my blending brush. Absolutely love my blending brush. You can tell this is my red one because it's very, very red. I have a green one and a blue one and a pink one and an orange one. So I use that for the basic colour families. Now, this original card here, I've basically done it even, all over and straight all the way to the edges. This one, I'm going to be slightly different. I'm going to use less ink. I'm going to concentrate it around the centre and fade it out around the edges. So let's see how it goes. I know we shouldn't really, I shouldn't change things mid-stride, should I? I should have learnt better than that over the years. Anyway, I'm going to get rid of some of the ink off this. This is my, ink colour, Julianne. This is Sweet Sorbet, one of the new in colours. So it's very, very new ink pad and very, very juicy. So I'm just going, as I say, start with the heavier colours close in. Move my finger. I did try this with I did try this with putting a magnet on the inside as well, but I found that I just knocked it and made a mess. So, and I'm going to just let it go lighter and lighter, blending out towards the edge. Now this is, as I mentioned before, a very large piece of white, so we'll be trimming quite a bit off as we go. Get you out of the way. I'll show you, I've got some other combinations of colours that I've used previously, and I'll show you those in a second. But I'm starting with my Sweet Sorbet. It's a red. It's very similar to Poppy Parade. If you haven't seen the Sweet Sorbet, very similar to Poppy Parade, but got a slightly pink tinge to it. So yeah, I have been into swapping them in and out if I run out of one, because they're quite similar. But there are, as I say, sweet sorbet's got a slight pink tinge to it. Okay, so that's my blending there, and as you can see, you get the grid, and then you get that really cool sort of blank space in the middle where you can pop, where we're going to pop our sentiment. So I'm not entirely sure I'm going to be as happy with the blending not going all the way to the edge, but as I said, I thought I wanted to give it a try for this card. I have a sweet sorbet card base, and I don't know how that colour looks on the screen, but you can tell it's got a bit of in some lights you can tell it's more pinky than it is Poppy Parade. And I'm going to trim this one down so that it fits the length of that one. So I'll probably lose all my blending and it'll actually look very similar to the original, but that's okay. I did think I'd taken it a little bit too far. So that's 5.5. So I want to take this down to 5.5, 5.25. So that's there. Where is it now? There. So I'm just going to take half off at the top and half off the bottom. I'll take it down to there. So just trimming it. So I've got a little bit of sort of it fading to nothing at the top and the bottom. And then 5.25 here. And then I therefore want it to also be 3 7/8. So I just need to take a tiny bit off. I'll take it off that side. 3/8. Okay, there we are. Okay, so here we go. We'll bring it onto our card base. There we are. That's quite cool. I do like that. I've actually got it a little bit too far over that side, but that's not going to matter once I put my little apples on. So that's the sort of the less over the top blending there. Now with the original, because I'd blended it all the way to the edge, I actually popped, you probably can't tell, it just looks like another edge. I actually popped a white layer around there just to break it up a wee bit. But with this one, because it fades towards the edge, I don't think I'm going to need that extra white layer. Okay, so that's that there. What I'm going to do is going to make this one with the apples as well. Love the apples. This is the Apple Harvest stamp set, which I know I've got here somewhere. Oh, it's underneath everything. Of course it is. It's underneath everything. So this is the Apple Harvest stamp set. I did actually get in time to get the dies, so I have die cut these particular little images, but to be honest, it's not too much of a fussy cutting if you love this one. But if you were lucky enough to get the dies, they make it very, very, very easy. I'm just going to colour these. I'm going to stick to my light and dark sweet sorbet for my apples. It won't take a second because most of this apple is white, so we'll just leave him white. I'm going to stick mostly to the dark because I think it's a lovely, rich, dark apple colour. Of course, you can have little green apples and sort of lots of blotchy coloured apples, but I love this red. Just sticking to the parts again, as with Stampin' Up stamps, it tells you where the image should be darker, and so I'm just sticking to that for this colouring. I might take it a little bit further just to get more of that rich red colour. And I'll bring in the light version and I'll just blend that. I hope everyone's had a good week. Very, very wet week in much of eastern Australia and definitely here as well. Didn't get the heavy, heavy rain that I know some places have received, which it just was constant. It was just miserly, sort of miserable, constant. And we still got, I think I saw in our in our rain gauge, I think I still saw that we got like, 100 mils or something. So 10 centimetres in a few days, less than a week. So this is my light, can't remember what this is, light mossy meadow. So I've gone a slightly darker green for my leaves. I'm not going to bother with any blending or anything there. And then I've got a dark crumb cake. I'm just going to give it a little bit of a that's a bit of wood there, branch. Now the blossoms are going to be a combination of light flirty flamingo and dark flirty flamingo. So that's my dark there. Nice and quick, not much to this colouring. This I haven't gone too over the top. Didn't die cut that one very well. That one's definitely going underneath. I'll bring these up for you to have a closer look very soon. Thought I heard my husband getting back from swimming, but I haven't heard him come through the door. Now, if you've been putting off your decision to join Stamping Up and my team, the Chatty Stampers, please, and you want to take advantage of the latest offer, which is a great offer. You actually get extra in your starter kit, extra product of your choice. You're never told what you need to buy with Stamping Up in your starter kit. You can buy whatever you want. So, but you do get an extra 48 Australian dollars if you join before the 31st of October. So if you're sitting on the fence, please reach out and I'll help tip you over the edge to joining. I mean that in a gentle way. No violence involved, I'm sure. I promise. But it's a great joining offer. Even if you're just a hobby, you just want to be a hobby crafter, you don't have to do videos, you don't have to do classes, you can just buy for yourself. It's always good if you've got a family member or a friend who buys from you as well. Always makes that monthly minimum come around a lot quicker, but it's not necessary by any stretch. It's it's just a great fun way of getting your craft supplies at a discount. Okay, so I've got my apple and a couple of little blossoms. Thank you, Deborah. We are a friendly little group. So there's my blossoms. I've got my two little blossoms there and my apple with a couple of blossoms in there. Somebody mentioned to me what sort of apple could it be that had blossoms and apples on at the same time. I'm not thinking too heavily about that. I'm sure there must be some apple somewhere in the world that has blossoms and apples on at the same time, and if there's not, it still looks pretty. So we're going to pop those on there like that onto our card and then onto our card base. So let's start that. So this is our wonderful little blended panel. I'm going to pop thanks for your kindness onto this one. And I'm going to use our specially left blank little sentiment gap there, which is so cool. I'm going to go off to the left-hand side slightly. There we are. Thanks for your kindness. You may well get this as a customer card. I often do send thank you cards to my customers, so who knows? Place an order, you might get this one. Okay, so I'm going to glue this onto my card base. And then I'm going to pop our little apples and things on with dimensionals just to give it a bit of oomph. I must say, I think I'm leaning towards the solid blending version. Don't know why, but yeah, I am leaning that way at the moment, but this is worth a try. So I'm going to bring in my apple here, my big apple. What have I got dimensionals wise? Lots of edges. Must be an edgy sort of day. I'll use these. Gosh. Okay, we'll pop this one on. And then our two little blossoms on the right hand corner. This little one here with his slightly off center die cutting first. Yes, Deb, I'm well and truly over the rain as well. It's sunny in Bendigo. Well, that's good to hear. Is that that must be? Is that you, Evelyn, saying that? I can't see the name on this one on my computer. That's good to know. Somewhere in the country is getting some sun. We've been promised tomorrow will be our rain-free day, and then it'll start again next week. So I'll try and get some things aired out this weekend, especially my son's bedding, which is, yeah. Anyway, we won't talk about late teen, early 20s children, male children and their hygiene. That's not a discussion for a polite audience. Okay, so there we are. So that's our little apples. Thinking about it, I think I should have pushed that up a little bit further to the top. I actually thought about it when I did this one. I thought, push that up to the top a bit more, Julianne, so it doesn't look so bottom heavy. And I've totally forgotten to, so that's all right. If I was doing it again, I would push that up a bit further. Okay, so I'm just going to add some Wink of Stella to my apple blossoms, just to give them a bit of a shimmer. And just little bits of my apple as well. So it looks like it's got some dew on it or something like that, just from the early morning. So there we are. See that? And I've got some iridescent gems as well. So I'll pop those on. I'll put them up here where I think I've got a bit of empty space. So there's 3 up here. And I'll pop another couple down here. Come here, you. Okay. So that is my first decorative masks card. Here we are. As I say, I think I do prefer the one where I've gone solidly all the way out to the edge. But, you know, muchness of a muchness depends on how you roll. Yeah, so that's that one. Okay, second card I'm going to use. First of all, I'm going to show you some of the combos I've come up with while I've been playing with these masks. This one is that sort of flowery, what did I call it? Screen door, flowery screen door combination. So I've got the backing one is in Blushing Bride. That's the lighter one, and then I've gone back in with the sort of flowery mask a second again, and I've used Fleur de Flamingo over the top. So I haven't made a card with that one yet, but that shows you what's possible with those other masks. And this one here I really like. This is blue, of course, Julianne, it's blue. I've used the sort of the fine mask that we just used on our apples in combination with the heavier one. So I think I went over it first with the heavy one, and that you can see the light blue, and that is our Tahitian Tide. And then I went back with the fine one and went over the top, and that's with our Orchid Oasis. So they're our in colours as well. And then I've combined that with a Orchid Oasis and a Tahitian Tide Square as well. So that one's pretty cool too. So I was happy with that one. And this is the inspiration for the card we're going to do with the two masks as well. So I've taken a leap from this one into doing something slightly different. And I have to thank Jan Casey, who I know is probably not watching today because she's off to a market. She found this colour combination for me on Pinterest. She is our, and I think Vicky, I just saw Vicky come on. She is our Pinterest lady, isn't she, Vicky? She finds us all our inspiration on Pinterest. Yes, so Jan found me this colour combination. It wasn't exactly this card, but yeah, on Pinterest. So I'm going to give it a bit of a go. Okay, so I'm going to use both the fine plaid and the nice big heavy one. I don't know that I need, yeah, okay, I'm going to use my Stamparatus again. I'm going to use Blushing Bride, just Blushing Bride, nothing else. I'm going to do both runs through with Blushing Bride. I don't know which one to go first. If Jan was on, she'd tell me. I'm going to go with the big one first. Okay, so again, I'm not going to bother with the cutout. I'm just going to go straight for the mask. Going to, again, I've got the piece of cardstock which is a fair bit bigger than I actually want. I'll pop that on there with my magnets. Okay, grab my pink blending brush, which I know I had out here somewhere. Here it is. And again, my Blushing Bride. So this is going to be a sort of a tone-on-tone effect. And, oh, I just dropped it on the floor. I can get it later. And I'm going to, because I'm going to use the Blushing Bride twice, it's going to build up and be darker as you go over and over it with your blending brush. So first of all, it's just this one. Looks like my Blushing Bride's a bit dry, but we'll get there. I haven't actually tried this. I know where I'm heading with this card, but I haven't actually tried. I haven't put it together apart from the blue one. This one's slightly different. So I'm blending just lightly with the Blushing Bride with the big grid. Shouldn't matter which order I do them because it's all going to end up with ink on it, obviously. It's quite funny, actually. I can tell that I'm probably on, well, the minority who aren't concentrating on Christmas at the moment, because if I haven't got Christmas or something in the title of the video online, it doesn't get very many views at the moment. So yeah, I can tell I'm probably Ebenezer Scrooge, I suppose, because I'm not doing a whole lot of Christmas stuff at the moment. But I'm sure there are those of us out there that don't get too excited. I tend to put my Christmas tree up at the last minute. Oh, damn, I've gone over that. Anyway, that's okay. We might leave that at that now that it's moved. It's telling me that that's enough. Yeah, I don't put my Christmas tree up till the very last minute. And especially now, this year, we won't have the boys home. So, yeah, I am a bit of Ebenezer Scrooge, aren't I? Okay, so we've got that one there. It's gone a bit manky at the top there, but that's okay because I'm going to have to trim it off anyway. So this one I'm bringing in, and you can see where we're headed already. If I bring it a wee bit closer, you can see that you're going to have the grid through the grid, if that makes sense. It's a matter of deciding how we want to align them up. I think I'm going to go like that. Go like that. Let's see. So you can line them up so that the big squares and the little squares overlap each other exactly. They're built that way. Or we could do it so that the little square fits inside the big square. And in that case, I'm going to have pink there. I'm only going to have a tiny bit of white. But if I go this way, I'm going to have, now what did I say? Have I just absolutely made no sense at all, have I? No, that way. Then I'm going to have more white. Let's give it a go this way. This is slightly not what I thought I was going to be doing, but we'll give it a go. We'll see how it goes. So the magnets are so strong. So I'm lining up our 2 grids. Pop my magnets in. These magnets are just a bit scary strong, to be honest. I had one. This one broke. I don't know if you can tell, this one here broke. And I do have a metal. I have a metal cardstock holder that sits next to me, like a metal tower with baskets. And the one that broke off zipped across the craft room. It must be at least a metre, maybe a metre and a bit more. Zipped across the craft and lodged into this metal, or onto this metal stand. It was like, oh my goodness, that is one heck of a magnet. So I'm very, very careful with them now. I don't get between the magnets and anything metal. So be very careful there if you've got the Stamparatus with the magnets. They do warn you to be careful if you've got pacemakers and things. So they are acknowledged to be pretty full on. And that's why they're so handy with this, because basically this is going nowhere in a hurry with the magnets on there. I'm not sure that I've done the right thing with this placement. We'll have to have a bit of a look. That's the excitement here, isn't it? That's the unknown. Maybe should have had them lined up through the centre. Let's see. But as you say, we're going to have light pink. We're going to have darker pink, where we've gone over a few times. And we're going to have a wee bit of white left as well, where the whites of the 2 masks have lined up. Won't be very much of that, but that might be okay. Not stronger than the magnets, Deborah. The magnets win. They'd go straight for you. They would, Vicky. You'd be like the bionic woman with magnets all attached to you. Okay, well, that's not too bad. I'm not hating it. There we are. So there we can see we've got the white grid where the two grids have overlapped each other, and we've got dark pink and we've got light pink. There we go. Yeah, not as nice as I thought. You know what I think I might do? How about we flip it over and give it another go? There's nothing to say we have to stick with it, and paper has 2 sides. So just stick with me for a minute and we'll see. And we'll be able to pick which side we like best, won't we? So I'm just going to I'll come back in with this one first since I've got it there. Let's do this one first, and then we'll line them up slightly different. Okay, so just lightly, we'll do it again. I do have most of the rest of the card worked out, so don't worry. We're not going to be here till Saturday night. Reminder for the ladies who have purchased kits to my Christmas workshop, we've got our Zoom tomorrow afternoon from 2:30 daylight savings time. If you bought the kit, there's no compulsion to come to the Zoom. You've got your PDF. You've got your PDF and you've got your video links. So it's perfectly okay, and perfectly okay if you want to make the cards on your own. But if you'd like to pop on, I'm not even sure we're going to get all 6 cards done in the time that I've allocated tomorrow afternoon. We might just do the trickier ones. I don't know, there's a couple of really easy ones there you probably wouldn't need any help with. And I'll answer questions, of course. But yeah, so we do have our Zoom session tomorrow afternoon. Make sure you've done your homework and you're cutting out. And if you need to know the dimensions for the cutting out, just go to the PDF that I sent you originally, and you'll have your measurements there. Bit of fussy cutting as well, but that's also mentioned in the PDF. So make sure you pop and do that as well. So this time we're going to line them up so that the squares sort of are inside each other rather than lined up. It's always when there's 50-50 way to jump, I always jump the wrong way, but we'll see. It's always fixable. So let's do this one. I'm going to lose a lot of the white in this one because I'm going to go over it with the pink, but it's going to be a light pink because it's only going to have one layer of the blushing bride over it. Whereas when they've had 2, it'll be darker again. So I'm not going to go too crazy here. I'm just going to go lightly, and then we can decide which side. So you're going to have to tell me which side you prefer, the original one or this second one. If you're a visual thinker, you probably worked it out already, whereas I have to physically see it. I can't think that far ahead, sadly. Oh, okay, that's telling me there's enough. Okay, there's our side B. So side B, side A. It's probably not quite fair because I've made that one a fair bit darker. So side B, which is a lot softer and more sort of pastel-y colours, or side A. I'm not going to say which one I prefer. I'm going to let you guys say which one you prefer. So that's A or B. A, B, A, B. I'm making myself giddy now. And while you're popping your notes in, tell me which one. Fran reckons A. Oh, just my phone did something really weird there. So I'm hoping I think it might be I've got my door closed because the sound of my voice annoys my son. Well, in the mornings anyway. So I've closed my door so he can't hear me. I think it interferes with the internets, the interwebs. Okay, let's see what we've got. We've got some B's. We've got a few, oh, you're going to say A's as well, aren't you? So we've got A, 1, 2, 3, but we've got B's. We've got a fair few more B's. Yep, I think we're Sandy, you said A. I think we've got a fair few on, yeah, it does depend on the use. Yes, Marilyn, I am asking an unfair question. I think we'll go B because it's softer and I'm going for a softer look here. So we'll go B. I'm sure A would be just as nice, but I think we'll go B. Okay, so we have, just to put you out of your misery, we have a blushing bride card base. This is going to be a landscape card. So I'm going to trim this one down. The big question I need for myself to work out now is, do I need a white panel in between the blushing bride and the layer? And I think I do. So I'm just going to grab a piece of white cardstock and make myself an extra layer. So the card base, as usual for me, 5.5 by 4 1/8. That's the dimensions of the finished card base. So my panel is going to have to be 5 3/8 by 4. And then I'm going to have to trim my masked layer down to that one there. So this is going to have to be 3 7/8 by 5 3/8, 5 1/4. So how big is it? 5 1/4. So I'll take it's down to 5 1/2. I'll turn it round, and that's down to 5 1/4. There we are. So that's the right size now. So this is our layers as I've got them. So a layer of white, our blended panel, and our card base. So very pretty in pink there. So I haven't got any ribbon in mind for this. I don't sort of didn't sort of preempt the need for ribbon, but we'll just pop it all together and see how we go. This one onto the white. And then that onto the card base. Now you could play with the colours here. As you can tell, you could play with the colours and give it a Christmas theme, especially given that I'm going to be using our Christmas Scotties on this one. So really just change the colours, pick a Christmassy sentiment from the set, and you've got instant Christmas cards. So there we are. But this one I'm doing as a pretty pink version. So from my stylish shapes, which is, if you remember, I said I was being inspired by the blue one to make this one. From the stylish shapes, I've got the bigger banner, and this is Flirty Flamingo. Got a panel of a circle of Blushing Bride, and as I say, this is, I think, second from biggest circle out of the stylish shapes, and I've popped it through the Pretty Flowers embossing folder, so that's going to sit there. So this is a circly one rather than a squarey one. Next size down, circle, and also I've popped that through the Pretty Flowers embossing folder. And then I've got a petal pink banner, the smaller one, and that's going to be for our sentiment. I'm going to emboss that with white. But in all that, I'm going to pop a wee little puppy dog out of the Scotty Christmas, or Christmas Scotty. So there we are. So just going to grab the little guy that's sort of standing there, sort of minding his own business. I'll get rid of that. Where's that? Over there. I'm going to do him in black ink. This bit worries me. I'm not sure whether in black ink he's going to stand out too much, but we'll see. We'll see how we go. I don't want to cause a furore by making him pink and then have people come to me and say there's no such thing as a pink Scotty dog, which I still have nightmares. I have nightmares of a lady who contacted me a few years ago to say that I had ruined her Christmas because I had stamped my Christmas trees in red, and Christmas trees weren't red. And so I personally had ruined her Christmas. And she said all that in a different language. She was watching my YouTube channel from a non-English speaking country. And so I had to translate. I got excited. It was very early days. Got very excited that somebody bothered to put a comment on my YouTube channel. Popped it through the translator and couldn't believe what she was telling me. I was thinking, oh my Lord, I bothered putting that through the translator. And we lived in France for a couple of years, so I tried my hardest to sort of phrase a reply about, Christmas traditional colours, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't really matter. In Australia, we use reds and greens and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, she came back not happy with my reply. And I blocked her in the end. I thought, no, I don't need that. sort of weirdness on my in my life, so I blocked her from the YouTube channel. I did notice that when I was sort of stalked her for a while that she'd put equally weird comments on other people's channels as well. So I think she was just that sort of person. And it did leave a bad taste in my mouth for quite some time because, as I say, it was probably only my second or third video that I'd done way back when. Okay, so that's the look we're going for there. How do you reckon? How do you think? I think he's okay with the black. I think he's meant to be there, so I think that's quite good. I'm going to give him a pink bow. You know what I was going to do? I was going to cut the bow from the same grid, so that he had a little bow that matched the grid, and sort of hide that underneath where I'd popped the circles. But that's okay. Thinking on my feet, I think a pink bow. I think he needs a flirty flamingo bow just to sort of have it stand out a wee bit. So I can either punch using the punch. I can either punch a bow straight from cardstock, which I'll do there, or I can stamp one. So there's one I've just punched from cardstock. I think I actually need to stamp one, so we'll stamp one. Where are you? Here he is. I'm going to stamp a bow. Where is it? That one there. Grab my flirty flamingo. I wonder if flamingos are actually flirty. I'm sure they could be if they wanted to be. Here we go. Yeah, I'll definitely put some bling on there. I know I did one here a while ago where he actually just had a string of gems as a... Why are you doing that? He actually just had a string of gems as a necklace. So I wonder whether that would be the way to go. It was a good suggestion, Deb. Let's have a look. We're so close to having this done now. Let's give that a go. Oh, and it dropped on the floor. Of course it did. Where are you? There. Okay, so there is his stamped bow. Let's think it might look a wee bit better because it's got the white edges. So there is him with a it, with a pink or flirty flamingo stamped bow. We might go for that. I think we'll go for that. I've got it made. Otherwise, we're going to be here all day. And I think I definitely just did hear my husband coming home. Okay, so let's get this created. I'm just going to copy exactly what I did with the other one. I'm going to glue the white circle to the pink circle, just sort of off center like that. So we'll just glue that. Let's pop some glue on that edge. Overlap them a wee bit. There we are. And this one here, this flirty flamingo banner is going to sit behind. So I might pop him on now. There's a lot of banner there for most of it being hidden, but you could clip it in half and get two, I think, without too much trouble. Yeah, when I was talking to Jan about this pattern, we both wondered whether that behind the scenes pattern should actually go through an embossing folder as well. But I think in this case I might just leave it. I think there's enough happening on this card. Okay, so then I'm going to glue these on the front. Take it up a wee bit, otherwise it's lopsided. There we are. Now we'll bring in our wee doggy and pop his bow on. You can sit on there, just like that. Might put him on some dimensionals. Yeah, I like him. He sort of breaks up the pink a bit. I think he's actually a lot nicer in that colour. Just pop some dimensionals on him. My tummy just grumbled. I've had brekkie. Must be coffee time. About 10:30 is always coffee time. Bit of a hangover from my working days, I think. 10:30 was tools down for a coffee. It feels like it should still be. Okay, so we've got our little poopy dog here. It's shaping up nicely. And our sentiment box. So I've got the sentiment box. I was going to pop it here, just off to the left-hand side. There. I was going to white emboss it with the sentiment, but I don't think I will because it will disappear too much with the little dog. So I think I will just keep it in black. So black on pink. That's just an inkling. It probably would have been quite fine, but I think it would have disappeared too much. So I'll just go black. Maybe you could black emboss it, would be nice. You are always loved. So not a Christmas one by any stretch, but a lovely sentiment nonetheless. We all need to know that we're loved. You are always loved. Yes, I think I'm preferring that in the black. I think it's going to stand out a fair bit more. Again, I'm going to grab some dimensionals for this one, and we'll have to decide where we're going to put it. This one hasn't worked out too badly for something that I didn't know what we were going to do. Quite happy with that. Needs some bling again, of course. Lovely to see so many of you on today. Thank you for that. I will pop through all the comments later and have a look and say hello. So I'm going to pop that down there, up there. I was thinking up under his little nose there, but that's too low, I think, or too central. Maybe up there. I'm not sure. But anyway, that's where it's going at the moment. So there we are. That's our little puppy dog with his flowery background and our lovely sponged or a blended plaid background there. Just some bling. I might give him a wee bit of bling in the centre of his little bow. And then up here. And where does the other one have to be? About there somewhere. Up here. Up here. There we are. Okay. Bit unusual, bit different for me. There we go. That's yeah, a little bit different for me. I'm far more comfortable with our blue squares. You guys know me too well by now, but there. So I thought I'd show you what that tone on tone would look like there with our cute little circles and everything, just to soften it out a bit. And our cute little dog. So I do like it. It's turned out quite well, but probably better than I'd thought it would. As I say, there's my blue. That's our combination of Tahitian Tide and Orchid Oasis. And then we've got our original cards that I did the blended one there at the top, and the original one where I've blended it all the way to the edge underneath. And yeah, so that's it. So that's my play with the blending with the decorative masks, the Artistic Mix Decorative Masks. As I say, definitely handy to do this cute thing with the sentiment boxes there. And yeah, just really nice with that you know, you've always got a plaid paper at your disposal, regardless of what you may have in your stash. So infinite combinations there, limited by your imagination. Anyway, these are in the current catalogue, these decorative masks in the current annual catalogue, which means they will be available right through till June next year. So, grab those and give them a bit of a play as well. It seems like every year we have a decorative mask, a different sort of decorative masks, and these are the ones that we've got in the current catalogue. Hope you had a lovely time watching that. I'm going to go and grab a coffee. Have a great weekend, and I will see you all. Well, I'll see some of you tomorrow afternoon, prepared, and I'll see some of you next week as well. So great to see you this morning. Take care.